Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs post-game show podcast. The Cubs sweep the Sox in the crosstown at Wrigley Field. Another comeback win and a walk-off Wednesday for Mike Tauchman, the fourth walk-off win for the Cubs this season. Another thriller at Wrigley Field. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Del Mendo, and eventually Ryan Herrera from beautiful, historic Wrigley Field, joining you for about an hour or so here after the game. Got Kevin Wells running the ones and twos, and the chat is up and rolling. 7-6, Cubs beat the White Sox. And Cody, I know the beer bat's exciting, but it's the second night in a row that I won a wager.
Yes, you did. Talk to him.
Huh? 5-0 yesterday, doubled down on it.
Yes, sir.
Luke
5-1 today, doubled down on it.
Luke wins a few bets, and now he's
shouldn't I get credit for
betting.
I should get credit for the comeback, some sort.
Tauchman
gets some, of
when
course.
When it comes to betting, it has nothing to do. You have nothing to do with.
I manifested.
No. It's not like me taking Yan Gomes tonight and that manifesting. But either way, credit to you.
That's right. Thank you.
I was not touching it. The hit parlay I gave away in pregame did hit.
Nice.
So credit to me. Good for us.
And our
Cubs
friends
win.
at Circa, big Cubs win. Shout out to everybody that's already in the live YouTube chat. Best way to enjoy the CHGO experience is to subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube page. Exciting information about our group trip that we're going to take to Milwaukee coming up later in the podcast. Hang around for that. Hopefully Ryan joins us from Wrigley. And, of course, Cody will have the Beer Bat Chug, the victorious Beer Bat Chug, coming up in just a little bit with a dedication, I would guess, to Mike Tauchman. I've been saying the best fourth outfielder in Cubs history.
You better than Chris Coughlin?
Right now he's the MVP
of the first half
of the season for the Cubs.
Yeah. He's definitely been the most consistent hitter for the Cubs this year. We talked about it a few weeks back. I think right before they went to Atlanta. I remember us having a segment related to him specifically. Yeah, I mean,
put him on the All-Star. Is he on the All-Star ballot? Can we vote?
Yeah, voting is open.
Let's get it in there.
I don't know about. I mean, he gets on
Cody,
base.
Don't get the vibes down.
But I'm not gonna.
You're just being realistic.
Yeah, I'm being
realistic. That's not your role.
Well, whenever
when did we flip roles?
You're being objective.
Objective.
I'm being realistic.
I'm the one over here gambling away my life savings.
I'm being realistic because
I won.
I'm being realistic because you trailed 5-1 in this game, and you're playing a team that's on pace to be the worst team in baseball history.
You're right. You're right.
I think people would be mad at me if I was really hyped up about this game. Okay.
Yeah.
Not that I really give a shit what the people think. Well, I do, but not that much.
It does feel good to not lose those games because, boy, losing one or both would have been terrible.
Ugh. Like I care.
That team is bad.
I care what the people think, but not so much to basically decide how I'm going to feel about things.
Do you imagine what they're talking about in there? The balks, the bad plays at first base. Kopech grooving fastball.
Where do you start?
Woo!
I mean, where do you start?
I mean, I guess the White Sox do make me feel better about being a Cubs fan. That's for sure. There are a lot of teams that make me feel better about being a Cubs fan, but yeah, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. This tonight's game, it's not like your own. It's not like a bunch of errors led to you trailing. Tyone really wasn't that great tonight, and you made a comeback, and then, Wesneski hung a curveball or whatever to Tyone, but, you still, it was only a solo shot. You were able to get that, you tie that back up. Probably should have had more in that inning. I would say the only big complaint I have about tonight's game is you had multiple chances to score multiple runs. And honestly, the White Sox gave it back to you because of that balk, the multiple balks in that inning, and
2 balks.
and a wild pitch. So you I will always take, however you win games, however you get it done, I don't care at the end of the day. But my concerns about this team are still there. So, again, I will say this. It's just nice to win 2 in a row because I don't remember the last time they won 2 in a row. All right?
Got to beat the bad teams, too.
And you picked up a game. You've picked up 2 games in the division the last 2 nights now because Milwaukee got swept by the Phillies. And so you took advantage of the fact that Milwaukee went and played a good team, and you played a bad team, and you beat them. As disgusting as these 2 games basically were, you won the games. So I don't know. I still need to see more to feel a little bit better about the team going forward. But I will give credit to the offense for getting it going when they needed to. And even though Wesneski gave up the home run, the bullpen was good again in relief. Again, they were down 5-1. And the bullpen held them so that they could potentially make the comeback. You know what I mean? So I give them some credit there. And, like we were talking about, Mike Tauchman, man, like he's your 4th outfielder. And now him and Ian Happ are hitting, PCA's kind of providing a spark, not tonight, but since he's been here, he's provided really good defense and he's given you some reason for hope. And I know Seya's been up and down, but he just had a 10-game hitting streak. And I know the defense has been, makes us all want to pull our hair out at certain points. But overall, you feel good about him. I would argue that the Cubs have have a top 3 outfield in all of baseball. I would argue it.
What more could you ask of Mike Tauchman? How about the at-bat in the 7th inning? Where he's just fouling ball off. And I
forgot to mention Bellinger, too.
Right, but I mean, he did it multiple ways in this game.
Yeah. The at-bat with the walk, yeah.
He had the grinding at-bat.
12
the
pitches.
walk, 12 pitches.
Yeah.
And that was a huge play in the game. And then the walk-off with the opposite. He's swinging at the second pitch and takes it out and ends it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean.
Good for him.
I'm happy for him to be able to do it against, like, the other team in Chicago, like being a guy from Palatine. Like, and
I don't care what he says. It's got to mean a little bit more.
He's going to go home and,
it meant a little bit more.
He might have some Sox fan friends that he grew up with.
In 2 years, a guy that grew up a Cubs fan in 2 years has basically a walk-off catch against the Cardinals and a walk-off homer against the White Sox.
Yeah. That's fun.
He's got some and
in between, he's played
moments.
Great baseball.
Right.
He's got some banner moments, man. Some highlight career moments and big moments with this team. And tonight, he got you a win. Didn't feel great. Game didn't feel great, but
no.
What a way to end it, man. Shout out
some
Talk.
super chats.
Yeah, 2 super chats. Matt says for $1.99, please drag the Farbage ump. That's one thing both sides of town can agree on. The home plate umpire was
awful.
Terrible.
Really bad tonight.
That strikeout on Bodie was terrible. The strikeout on Nico that he got ejected.
Nico's was outrageous.
That was awful. That ball was never in the zone. Yeah, that was awful.
Easy E134 super chat says, serious question, will Morel have a toe by the end of the season? I know he takes a big stride. I've never seen a player foul a ball off the foot as often as he has in like 2.5 months. And he's got the guard over it, and he's still fouling it off his foot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It didn't look good.
All I can say related to him and fouling it off his toe as much as he has this year is that all I can say is that I hope that it's not serious and it was more precautionary. But he didn't look good, and he wanted to come out. So, like, I won't be surprised if he's out of the lineup tomorrow.
Oh, I'll be shocked if he's in the lineup tomorrow. I mean, he could barely walk. Mm-hmm. Imagine what his foot has to look like. There's no way if you hit that ball off your foot, you bruise it. It's only a couple days before he fouls it off again. That foot has to just look like a burnt meatloaf at this point.
Sure.
Real bad. Was there another super chat from Mo?
$10 one.
Mo.
Can you see that from here?
No, go ahead.
I can read it. I'll read it.
Cody's got it. Hot shot.
$10 from Mo. I'll take the W, but man, oh man, this bullpen is bad. When they are down, bullpen is okay, but when they have a lead, they give it right up. When was the last time they had not allowed a run in a game?
Yeah, I don't know.
Listen, like I already said, man, like, is the bullpen elite? No.
Is it a concern? Yeah.
Yes. Well, the thing is,
but it's not the biggest concern. The biggest concern's still the offense.
Sure. What I was about to say.
Oh, sorry.
it's okay. What I was about to say is, like, every team in the league is probably talking about their bullpen concerns because every bullpen gives up runs. I would argue that the bullpen has been significantly better over the last month. I would argue it, all right? Wesneski, has he given up some homers of late? Yes. But overall, he's been one of your best pitchers this year. So, like, should he hang a breaking ball in the zone to Paul DeJong? Absolutely not. But it was a solo shot, and you tied the game, and you eventually won. I know it's the White Sox. I know they've won 15 games. I know they're bad, but at the same time, people say this all the time. They are still major leaguers. And listen, we knew that this series for the White Sox was like a World Series, all right? So you knew that they were going to give you their best effort, which still was kind of sad because of how many times that they just fucked up and basically gave the Cubs a game. But I'm just saying, like, as far as the bullpen, yes, it's a concern. Yes, they need some help, but I would argue that it hasn't been nearly as bad as it was in April. I would say in most of May and the 5 days of June, I think you can argue that it's been pretty good. And again, it saved you tonight. Though Smiley, Hodge could have came in and sucked, and it could have been worse, and we wouldn't have made the comeback.
Friend of the show, Hodge.
Friend of the show, Porter Hodge, yes. Right?
Quick super chat that we missed. My bad. Last time Cubs won 2 in a row was May 4th and 5th against the Brewers. BTU
Thank you,
goal.
BT goal.
Yeah, so
Which Tyone also pitched one of those games. We'll get to him in a bit.
My biggest concern still with the bullpen is definitely probably your closer situation. But, you know, that I feel like Neris is kind of stabilized, right?
Yeah, he still gives me anxiety.
Yeah. But like, it hasn't been
clean innings. He just can't work clean innings. That's the problem. He's always given up at least 1 or 2 base runners, but
it's always a walk or something. You know,
he keeps the ball in the park at least. He doesn't give up the home run.
Yeah.
All right, it's time.
Okay.
It's time for the Blue Moon Beer Bat Chug from Cody Del Mendo.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll give it to Mike Tauchman because he won the game, and for most of the game I didn't enjoy it, but he won the game, and we've won it 2 in a row for the first time since May 4th and 5th, as our friend BT Goal said. So credit to you for letting us know. Mike Tauchman, as we just said, what a hell of, as much as I criticize front office for a lot of things of late, Mike Tauchman was a great find. So credit to them. Okay.
All right, I am ready to roll.
Here we go. Here it comes. A lot of people guessing 9-4, 10-3, 7-8-9. Here goes Cody Del Mendo, the Beer Bat Chug, and it's touched his lips. A lot of people guessing 12 seconds, 9 seconds. Again, 10.25 is the quality Beer Bat Chug
A little bit left in there.
rating, and done. 10.83, just shy of a quality Beer Bat Chug. Just shy. We'll give it to him. We'll call it a winner.
I have a little bit more context on Mike Tauchman, one of my buddies who works over at ESPN 1000. 25 of Mike Tauchman's 50 hits this season, 7th inning or later. He's slashing .410, .500, .639 with 3 homers and 8 RBIs in the 7th inning or later this season. Courtesy of Tyler Rock, ESPN 1000. Thanks,
Tyler.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tyler. Credit to you.
That's incredible.
I mean, he's been awesome.
That's awesome. That's
he's been awesome.
That's clutch, man.
You can't, when we talk about the outfield picture and you're trying to figure out how guys are going to play, it's real easy to say, well, this guy's got to go on left or this guy. You cannot forget Tauchman because he's been the best outfielder of all of them.
Well, he's been the most consistent.
He's been the most consistent player they've had.
I wouldn't say he's been better than all of them.
He has been the most consistent player on the team this season.
Yeah.
Position player. I'm not saying he's the best player.
Well, you kind of just did. But
he's not the best player. He's had the best start to the season of any team. He's been the most consistent player.
Thank you.
Shota would be the best
pitcher.
Yeah.
He's been I think what Luke is, he's been the most stable. He hasn't had the valleys that these other guys have
and
had.
I agree with that.
And he's had some really big plays.
Totally. Huge plays.
He's been healthy. Mm-hmm. Hap's had ups and downs. Suzuki's had ups and downs.
Right.
I don't really ever complain about Mike Tauchman's defense.
No.
Bellinger's been hurt some.
Yeah.
Well, he's been the best outfielder.
And that's why, you know, when we talked about Morel and all that in the pregame about his defense, it's like this is why you have to find ways to play him in the field. That way you can get Mike Tauchman as well into the lineup. I didn't even figure him into whenever I was making my point in the pregame. My point was about getting PCA and Michael Busch into the lineup. But, Mike Tauchman's another one too, because, he's earned all the playing time he could ask for. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Morel, but as far as Tauchman, he definitely hasn't made any kind of case to lose playing time. And, it's a good problem to have. And, this is only adding to the fact that I really do believe the Cubs have one of the best outfields in all of baseball. I know the defense sometimes can be a little annoying, but as far as offense, I mean, when you have Bellinger, Suzuki, Happ, Tauchman, PCA, I mean, the depth there is great, and you got guys who have proven it.
Cole says we wouldn't be giving all these flowers to Tauchman if anybody else was playing to their potential, but they're not, and he is. Yeah. And, in fact, he might be exceeding potential or expectations. Is Brendan Miller agreeing with me?
He is. Mike Tauchman has the highest weighted on-base average on the team, according to Brendan Miller.
Interesting. All right. Cody, we'll get to the Super Chats in a second. Tell us about the tight money line splits.
Well, when you placed your bet on the Cubs to make the comeback, they had great odds on Circa, right?
You better believe it.
Those tight
and they're not
money
punishing me for being successful either.
Right. Those tight money line splits. Now, yours is a live bet, but, you could have got the Cubs probably at a pretty good deal on Circa tonight, pregame. Better than any other book if you wanted to take the money line. Games strive to be a -110 split on Circa Sports menu, unlike other sports books which use -115 or -120 splits. Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to other books. Circa Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. They actually encourage bettors to download and explore all the sports betting apps available, compare the lines to each sports book. And then also, they don't use chatbots, which is my favorite thing about them. They have real people behind their brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other books who use chatbots. All aspects of their app are being run by the same team that's ran in their resort and casino in Las Vegas. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. They're with us with every Cubs Friday 120 club. And like we said at the top of the show, they will be a part of our road trip to Milwaukee as well, because we're going to make a pit stop at the Circa Sportsbook in Waukegan to pick up our suburb friends who want to come with us.
They were there last night at the takeover.
Yeah, they were at the takeover
out
last night too.
At Murphy's.
Great people. So if you or someone you may know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, text GAMB to 833-234, or visit areyoureallywinning.com.
How is it possible that we only have 43 likes on a 7-6 walk-off? Come on, guys. Now, hey, by the way, when you're winning money on Circa, the best way to wash that down is with a Blue Moon. Some beers can say they're brewed for baseball, but only Blue Moon is brewed by baseball. Beer and baseball go together, and no beer goes better than the one that was literally born in a ballpark. Blue Moon, created at Coors Field in Colorado. It's a natural choice all season long. The weather today, basically for the last week or so, has been 5-star summertime shy. Like, perfect. Give me a Blue Moon is what that screams. Nothing beats watching baseball, lounging by the pool, or sweeping the White Sox like an ice-cold Blue Moon beer with an orange slice. Blue Moon, brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the season. A beer this good only comes around once in a Blue Moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Bring the ballpark to you with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO to see your delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Do we have any other super chats? I just want to make sure
we do have a couple more.
We did have a couple more. And I know Brendan wanted me to say Woba. So there it is, Woba.
Nice.
Mose for $2 says, Sox, can we trade you Roberts, Crochet, and Kopech?
Well,
I trade for them?
You sure you want Kopech?
And then he followed it up with, it will feel like Lofton, Ramirez, Simon.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
like
I
that.
would take Luis Robert Jr.
You would?
You'd
take Crochet too? Nice.
I would take Crochet and Robert.
I would too, but Luis Robert, every team would take.
Yeah, I would. I think it's pretty clear that he's the best baseball player in the city when healthy.
You see, Charlie the Bacon guy got
He
the
is.
Cubs at 340.
Nice. That's where
Just
Luke
like
got
you.
him.
You and me, Bacon Man. You and me, Bacon Man. That's right.
Is that
2
all the
nights in a
super
row,
chats?
baby.
That is all the
Is
super
all of them?
chats.
Okay.
We're up
Thank
to
you
date.
for all the super chats. Keep sending them. We'll read them.
I got a lot of extra money to spend on bacon, and I saw that Charlie was here dropping stuff off for some guys yesterday, some orders.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw it in the fridge. It hasn't all been picked up yet, so you snooze, you lose, guys.
Chef Kevin Penner says the Cubs outfield is okay. You should check out the Yankees outfield. I mean, I didn't say they were the best outfield. It's hard to beat Judge and Juan Soto, right? But when it comes to depth and just overall production,
Do they have
Cubs-
Tauchman? They might have Soto, but do they have Tauchman?
no, they don't.
The answer
They
is
don't.
no.
I didn't say the Cubs have the best outfit, but it's pretty arguable that it's at least in the top 3 or 4 range for sure, I think, just based off production and depth. So, whatever.
It's all possible. It's all possible. What else do we have in the was there another super chat, or did we get them all now?
We got them all. You're good on super chats.
All right.
Just a lot of people giving credit to you for winning money.
Oh, thank you. I
How come
appreciate
they never
that.
give me
Yeah.
any credit for
Because I'm very strategic about my placement.
yeah.
It's like Super Bowl, crosstown. I'm not a sprinkle some every night guy,
Fair enough.
but my winning percentage is up there,
enough.
baby.
You're
Let me tell you,
your expected winning percentage is higher than Cody's. Maybe that's why.
my WOBA is off the charts.
Well, it's kind of like the in baseball terms, the way to explain this is since Luke rarely bets, and when he does bet, he does well. He's like batting 1,000 in some aspects,
That's
or
right.
batting
Yeah.
like 800. And since I take more at bats than him or more chances, I don't
it's
always
like you
win.
batting 500 in softball right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I didn't want to bring
Right.
it up, but
I am batting 500 in softball, and I scored the game-winning run the other day. Credit to me.
by the way, we're going to have to establish what went on with Ryan in the press box tonight.
If you saw Ryan on the
We'll get to that
broadcast,
when Ryan comes on. There's,
he
if you
said,
didn't see it.
He claims that he just he was trying to save his friend in the press box, Jordan Bastion, but he could have had the foul ball and he didn't get it.
Looked,
and
like he ducked, but
Yeah, it looked like he either
there's
ducked-
other scenarios
he
we've thrown
either-
out there.
he
We're not
either-
going to even mention them. It's not fair.
Yeah, okay.
It's not right. It's not nice.
with him not being here. Yes.
He's not here to defend himself. Somebody said, Luke, love the chicken legs. Nice pick, Cody.
Credit to
Charlie,
me.
the bacon
Thank
guy,
you,
sending me a
Rob.
little grease because we're going to bronze him up.
Yeah.
Bronze him up a little bit. Listen, once you hit 50, nobody's doing a leg day. There's no leg day. I've always had chicken legs, and I've never done a leg day, and I'll never do a leg day.
Listen, when I tweeted that picture, it was all about the fact that I felt like I'd never seen your legs ever. So it was a moment. It was more about just showing the people.
And then you went and had a leg day because you looked at my legs and you were like, it's pretty good for 52. It's pretty good.
yes, we'll
Those
just go
are-
with that.
Those are pretty good
Even though
stems. Those are pretty good stems right there.
It was that morning.
That's a good
but,
base.
Anyway, Jameson Tyone sucked today, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Is that what we're talking about?
Well,
We
I
have
mean,
to be
here's the
negative
thing.
Now?
Yeah, I mean,
I guess I was kind of negative in the first segment. Kind
you were.
of.
I mean, you're pretty negative for an epic couple of games against the White Sox.
Because I don't care about the series. That's why.
It was fun. There's more energy in the ballpark.
Yeah,
And
it's
is
fun,
that three?
but I don't
Is
care
that
about
three
the
straight,
series.
pretty much like walk-off wins against the White Sox,
Yeah.
right? Because last year was the Morel, and then
Was that the last game they played each other?
I think it was the last game that they played them last year. I'm pretty sure.
It
somebody
sounds
double
right.
check me on that. Rogue Wave says, "Great legs, Luke. Credit to you. Thank you. Humble of me to admit it."
Anyway, I didn't try to be negative in the first segment. It's just that like my expectations for the season are high.
Well, we had the pregame show, right? And we were talking about. I said, "What do you expect out of Tyone?" His ERA was
2.84.
2.84 going in, which caught me by surprise. And I said, "Well, he's given up 3 earned runs in each of his last starts, which isn't terrible." And we talked about, okay, he's a middle of the rotation guy. What I'm concerned about
2.84 is pretty good.
And he had early in May, he had back-to-back really good starts.
Yeah.
You know, he had a couple of really good games, and I was super optimistic about that. What I haven't liked the last couple of games, while they haven't been horrible, the amount of contact he's giving up.
Sure.
Like, this is a dog bleep lineup that he went against tonight. The guys that aren't even really major leaguers out there. Yeah. And we know because we've been there. But the game's going into this, he gave up 6 hits, he gave up 9 hits, he gave up 6 hits. He gave up tonight 10 hits to the White Sox.
None of them were Robert either.
Now, that's the most shocking thing that happened all night long. Yeah. Luis Robert goes 0 for 5, but Tyone gives up 10 hits and owns Luis Robert. Baseball is a funny sport, and they weren't clubbing the baseball. They
6 straight singles in that one inning.
He wasn't getting pounded, but it's too much contact against the White Sox.
And some of those singles were hit really hard. The one was floated out.
I'm not even like saying,
but I mean, they weren't hitting like 450-foot home runs.
And that's why I said that Tyone sucked tonight, because it's not like they hit a bunch of like bloop shots or whatever, like, and he was getting BABIP to death. He gave up some hard contact, and like Luke said, he gave up too much contact. But I don't know, like, this is probably his second worst start of the season. And I agree with you, Luke, when it comes to like giving up too many hits. Like you said, with tonight gave up 10 hits. The start before he gave up 6. The start before that, 9.
9 and 6 before that.
6 and then 7 before that, and that was the start against the Braves.
Now you can get away with it if you can get double play balls and if you don't walk a lot of guys. Now the real killers if you start walking guys along.
And
with
he only walked 1 today.
So that's how he.
But he didn't start the game off well for himself when he gives up a leadoff homer on the first pitch of the game, and the White Sox broadcast misses it. You know, like
Okay, that was hilarious.
This is my 2 cents on Jameson Tyone. And I say this for the person who tweeted at us today right after Jolks hit that homer. Some guy named Schnool, Big Schnuels, credit to me for giving you a shout out on our show. Jameson Tyone, he says, Jameson Tyone is/has been awful. There's no defending him. He is fleecing the Cubs right now. That you could have said probably in the first half of last season. You guys all told me that he was a lot better in the second half of last year. When I went and looked at the numbers, you were right, all right? And he's been pretty good this year. And it goes back to like kind of like the same expectations that I have for like someone like Ian Happ or something like that, right? Like we know what Ian Happ is. We knew that he has a track record that he's going to be better, and he has been, right? Jameson Tyone, over the course of time, has been a pretty solid, middle of the rotation, innings-eating type pitcher. That's basically what he's always been. Did he have a ceiling that was supposed to be higher? Yes, because he was like a number 2 overall pick, had 2 Tommy John surgeries, beat cancer, all these things. So
he's a likable guy.
Yes.
We're not saying that.
No. My point is that he's not fleecing the Cubs, and he's been good this year, way better than last year to start the year. And every starting pitcher has bad starts. Even Shota did. And everyone wants to blame the fact that they gave him extra rest. But that for one start, okay. But last night, he was pretty good. Morel screwed him on the air, and okay, he gave up a 2-run homer. All right. But even in some of Shota's best starts, he's given up homers. All right. So like to bring it back to Tyone, he's giving you everything that you paid him to do. He's been a solid arm. Tonight wasn't great, so I look forward to the next start to see if he's better. And it's not great that he did this against the White Sox, but he also has good starts against Milwaukee, all right? Mm-hmm. He has good starts against Houston, which I know they haven't been very good, but they still have a pretty good lineup, right? Like, he has good starts against other solid teams. Baseball, like you just said, is a weird, wacky sport. How the hell did he give up 5 runs tonight but doesn't allow Luis Robert any hits at all?
I don't know.
But I think the biggest point about this on how he needs to be better, though, for sure, is he can't give up as much contact as he did tonight.
And it's probably my fault because he was probably listening to the pregame show, and I said, don't throw anything near Luis Robert and just throw it over the middle of the plate to everybody else on the team. And they took him for 10 hits. So that's probably my fault. Cole says, if you're going to examine Tyone tonight, how do we not do the same with Morel's defense at third? We've been talking about it, not necessarily tonight, but like ad nauseum.
We talked about it.
We talked about it a lot in pregame.
That was pretty much the whole pregame show.
But you didn't have any defensive miscues tonight.
After tonight's game, if you had to pick one, I mean, this is a negative way of approaching back-to-back wins over the White Sox, but if you had to say, well, they won, but this concerns me.
Yeah.
What concerns you the most out of this? Tyone, allowing the type of contact that he's allowed recently. The fact that it was the White Sox and you had to scrap and claw like it was Game 7 of the World Series to win both games, and it could have, frankly, been on losing back-to-back games of the Sox on the heels of losing a series to the Reds, or are you worried that Christopher Morel might be getting X-rays? Which one scares you the most at this exact moment?
For me, I'd probably put Morel, just because, like, listen, I know that I've said a lot about in the beginning of the show about, how this game, they had to scratch and claw to win this game. It wasn't an impressive win or anything like that. However, the White Sox did play the Brewers this past weekend, and it's not like the White Sox led at certain points against Milwaukee as well. So even though they've lost, 12 or 13 in a row, they have been like giving teams a tough time. And then, Milwaukee's been playing really well, so they eventually come back, take the lead, and win the games, right? And then, of course, Milwaukee goes to Philly and gets swept. So interested to see how the Cubs play after this series. But in the long run, Morel's health is important to this team. Like, he has the best raw power on this roster. I don't care what anyone says about his production or whatever. I will continue to beat down that, like, he is a massive part of the success of this team. All right, so yeah, I mean, when this team's offense has been inconsistent and worrisome, if he has to miss time, like, I'm intrigued to see who they replace, like, call up, Like, you can't just put David Bodie at third base every single day for the foreseeable future if you're trying to win baseball games, man. If he actually has to miss time,
Yeah, I hear you. It would be a problem. Even though it was the White Sox, again, they won both of these games because they were able to hit the long ball.
Yeah.
I was going to say, obviously, I think we don't really – I'm looking on Twitter. I don't have anything on Morel yet. But of the list that you gave, it would be Morel for all the reasons
Morel,
Cody
and then
said.
what?
I'm more concerned about the lack of just getting into the game offensively. I mean, yes, Tauchman hit the home run tonight, but again, I mean, no extra base hits, man.
I do feel like you started to see
outside of the Tauchman hit.
I feel like you're starting to
extra base hits, man.
I feel like you're starting to see, until he potentially, did something bad to his foot, Morel slowly coming out of it. I think you're starting to maybe see Dansby coming out of it. You're obviously seeing Happ come out of it.
Mm-hmm. He had the big RBI hit.
You would love to see Bellinger and Seya come out of it.
Just because
that's who you really would like to see get hot.
You're not going to be the benefit of a game when you play other teams. You're not going to play a team this bad again until you see the White Sox at their place in a couple of weeks.
I mean, you do get the Reds here, but
the Reds are a much better team.
Yes, but
they are not going to walk
twice. Zambrano says we stinks as well.
The Cubs need to hit more extra base hits.
They did go to Colorado, and I think they swept the Rockies today.
So they're hot.
I guess.
They're not.
I think the point
that
Luke is making is that the Reds are a team that you should be able to beat.
You got to be able to beat. What was it? What I said,
Certainly.
9 games against the Reds, Sox, and
Luke is right. Like, they need to win the series against the Reds after the Reds came to your house and won that series.
Have to win that series.
So, and how are you going to do that? You got to hit more extra base hits.
Yeah, especially in their ballpark.
You need way more power. Yeah. So
doubles, triples, homers.
Singles aren't going to get it done.
Okay.
if Morel misses time, then I think you got to move Ian Happ back up in that top of the leadoff spot.
Agreed.
All right, because not only is he hot, but also like the offense played its best when he was up there.
He's playing better.
Right. Yeah. So, that's where I'm at on that. But when Ryan gets in, he'll probably hopefully have a little bit of a better update. But I think as much as I have concerns about the team right now, at the end of the day, you're still like in that last wild card spot. So things could be worse. And I know to me, it's not even an excuse. It's more of just like, it's just the fact of the matter right now, right? Like things could be worse. And there's a lot of baseball to still be played. And hopefully this team gets on the right stride at the right time. You know what I mean? But as you said, they got to beat these teams that they're supposed to beat. And as much as this was annoying these last 2 nights, they did win the games. So I don't know, man. This team doesn't make any sense right now. Like I can't explain it, but we're back to 500 and you have a chance to be over 500 tomorrow.
That's right. You're back to the 500 mark.
So
I had Mark Carmen ask me last night when it was 5-0. Are the Cubs going to get back to 500 this year? Same thing he asked me last year. And I was like, come on, man.
Yeah. He asked me the same
but
question.
But if they get 6 games over, he'll be out there with his Cubs hat on.
Yeah.
Flying the W.
I guess
flips like a bluegill on a pier.
I guess another option they could use at third is Wisdom, but I still don't like Wisdom playing every single day. I like him in the
they will if they lose Morel.
He will
for
play
any
more.
period of time. Wisdom will have to play more because you'll need that kind of slug.
Exactly.
Even if it comes with strikeouts.
But exactly. I don't know if that's beneficial for the team. But anyway, I mean, you got the Reds, you got the Rays. The Rays aren't very good this year.
No.
You got a good situation here, trying to win some games here, and they desperately need Seya and Bellinger to provide more slug. I wouldn't say that Seya and Bellinger have been bad. They just haven't provided those extra base hits that you were talking about lately.
You need so much more.
Like when the other day I learned that Seya was coming off he had a 10-game hitting streak. And I was like, really?
A lot of singles.
That's a quiet. That's
right.
It
was a quiet 10-game hitting streak.
He had
right?
one at bat tonight. Was it a strikeout?
Yeah. And it was terrible. It was like his first or second at bat.
The play in right field. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about him defensively. I asked, "Are you more?" This was like 3 weeks ago. I was somewhat joking, but I was just asking, "You more concerned about when a ball is hit to Morel or to Seya and right?" And that's only the point of it was. I'm starting to get more and more concerned about Seya defensively.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people will point at the obvious drop in the Braves series and the drop on Saturday. Both terrible.
Should have caught the ball tonight.
Should have caught the ball tonight, too.
Really?
I noticed, you're a major league outfielder.
It hit him in the heel of the glove.
That was definitely a lot more.
I know he did some running and he got there, but like when it hits your glove, you got to make it.
That's a tougher play than the one on Saturday with the rain coming down. Now, the first one that you're talking about, sure. The one what was that against?
In Atlanta last year.
In Atlanta last year, yes.
The one thing that I've noticed about Seya that is really starting to become concerning is his throws to home. He's made some really, really bad throws on guys tagging up to the point where it's like, yeesh, man, like you got to at least make a competitive one-bounce throw in there. Also, taking wrong routes to balls. He did that in Milwaukee a couple times where he would come in and then he'd have to cut back out and the ball would go over his head and it turned into a triple. I mean, there's just the little things. He's not doing well. Can he turn it around? Certainly. But, yeah, the defense from Seya has been really disappointing this season.
Vanilla Chill says, yes, Kevin, the throws are bad.
Yeah, they're not good.
And I know somebody in the chat mentioned, I think it was Cole was talking about Morel's play at third, which we did talk about in the pregame show, but man, cutting that one ball off, I think they had the runner at the plate, or at least it was going to be close, wasn't it? And it didn't look like Jan Gomes had called him off and called cutoff because he seemed frustrated when Morel did cut it off. So
Yeah, that was the wrong play, too. You got to let that ball go through. I think Morel maybe wanted to keep the guys at first and second, but that's a mistake. I think Gomes rightfully said, hey, let that ball go through. It's a learning experience.
The Morel and that, and there were I'm sure there were other points in the game. Those are two plays right there. Had they lost this game, that Cubs fans would be going, what's going on? We're supposed to be this fundamentally sound team. We're supposed to be built on defense, base running, and all the small things you can do when the home runs aren't coming. And that's, to me, been one of the most disappointing parts of 31-31 is they could be above 500 if they had been playing cleaner baseball so far early in the season, 62 games in.
You guys remember who hit the ball that Seya didn't catch? That was like a sliding attempt.
Tonight?
To me, I completely disagree on Seya tonight related to like that catch that you guys are saying he should have had.
I think even JD said in the broadcast, didn't he say ball needs to be up? We didn't have it up loud enough, so I didn't.
It's a hard play to make, but you're a major league outfielder, man. Like, those are the plays that you have to do.
I just don't think
to
it's
pick
necessarily
up your
routine like the one on
no
Saturday.
Not routine. But it's just if that was the only play that he hadn't made this season, or the only if the throws had been good.
So you're saying that like
it's all compounded. The more it happens, the more I notice it, and the more I notice it, the more I know it's a problem.
Okay.
Because I don't notice anything other than
I'm the
ice
one
cream cones.
I'm the only one pointing things out to you.
Well, I do notice. I do notice when I'm getting good odds on the Cubs coming back from
That's
5
fair.
runs down.
I don't know, man. Like, Seya's defense is just. It's a head scratcher because we've seen him make great plays.
We've seen him have a great arm out there too.
Yeah.
Well, and when they first signed, it was like, well, this guy's going to be a really good right fielder. And I know Wrigley Field is one of the tougher right fields, but he's also made those plays on the road too.
Sure. I don't know.
A lot of the chat is saying, and I'm can't find it. I know Ryan will be here soon. A lot of the chat is saying green light on Morel. Council says he's fine.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, we'll double check it with Ryan.
Yeah, we'll see what Ryan has to say.
Before Ryan dials in, we better get to our friends at Sunnyside. You walked
Sunnyside.
by there the other day. I know.
Yeah. Well, we always stop there before we go to Murphy's on Fridays. Me and Braggs. Because they're our good friends. They hang out with us too on Friday 120 days. All right. Our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary are here to elevate your summer. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup, which Luke loves. All right. If he doesn't have to talk to people, and if he can do it on his phone, if he actually figures it out with his technology, he is having a day. I had to help him get his ticket to the game last night.
That's what I don't like.
Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit, which is like right on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin. Stop in the store nearest to you for the guidance from their staff or select from quality lines like Cresco or Florical. All right. Mindy Siegel's award-winning chocolates. That's one of my favorite ones at Sunnyside. You too can get that by heading to sunnyside.shop and use code HICHGO. That's HICHGO at checkout for 30% off brands like Cresco, Good News, and more to elevate your first purchase. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. As Luke Stuckmeyer, he looks like he had some Sunnyside, and that's why he's covering his eyes with some Shady Rays.
These are Fly the W Blue from Shady Rays. That's right. Get ready for the season ahead this summer with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Not 5 people, 6 people. This isn't just slight word of mouth. Over 300,000 people giving it 5 stars. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. Hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. Look at these babies in my favorite Cubby Blue. Huh?
You look good.
Imagine those out in the bleachers at Friday 120 club. Yeah, that's what you need out there. In fact, this pair was sitting over here at the office. I might just take care of them myself. They're great. I have like 4 or 5 pairs now, and my wife actually grabbed my sunglasses the other day. I have a pair that's got like kind of like a wood look to them, and she thought they were one of those really expensive sunglasses. I go, dear, those are Shady Rays. She's like, wow, these are really nice. I was like, I know. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I wear Shady Rays. I love to wear them golfing. I love to wear them fishing. I love to wear them watching Cubs baseball with Cody out in the bleachers. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear, every pair backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season right now. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO. 4 important letters. The code is CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by more than 300,000 people.
Mike Tauchman was quoted saying, every kid dreams of hitting a walk-off homer. And he did it tonight.
Yeah. And it wasn't just a walk-off.
His first walk-off, right?
Yeah, first career walk-off.
Yeah.
Not
At
only
least
that,
for a homer.
Well, he had a walk-off catch. This was a walk-off home run, and he did it in his hometown, in the crosstown, and he hit it all the way to Northwest Highway. That runs through Palatine.
I grew up in Cary. I know.
Yeah, runs through Palatine. Runs through Arlington Heights and
You
Palatine.
guys remember
right by the
also
race.
Mike Tauchman, again, speaking of rivals and big moments. Cody, you remember when we were sitting there last year against the Brewers series when the Cubs were struggling to get a win and Tauchman, like, I think doubled with a lot, like a little soft double down the line to give the Cubs lead. That
was in June as well.
It really just thinks like every time you think about Mike Tauchman, there's a new memory that like of him coming in the clutch.
That one's kind of underrated. No one talks about that moment.
It's
but
just-
yeah, he had the game-winning. I believe he had the game-winning hit in that game too.
Did you see him rounding third tonight? He went like this. It was almost as if he was saying, do the beer bat chug. I don't know if that's what he was doing, but we're going to have to ask him, what was this?
But
Tilt
Gotta
it
ask him
back.
what his best Blue Moon beer
the
bat chug
Cubs,
is.
the Cubs tweeted a great photo of him, and his walk-up song, I believe, is "Turn My Swag On" by Soulja Boy,
Yeah, it
and
is.
the caption is, "Some people hop out of bed with their swag turned on," and it shows. And the picture is just him heading like between third and home plate with his arms out, just like, look at me. I love, like, I mean, he's just one of those guys that just, he's a grinder, you know. His story is so fun. So
He's
I'm happy
not a grinder.
for
He's
it.
an MVP.
MVT.
People are
Valuable
saying
talk.
Luke Stuckmeyer is that
MVP.
person.
People are still agreeing
The
with me.
star on
Tauchman may be
TV
the Cubs'
tonight
best
is here, though.
outfielder this year. The most reliable. Alexander, thank you.
He
got
is
our
most
guy.
reliable.
Our guy Ryan is here.
Oh, look at this.
Wanna bring him
There he
in?
is. I saw him on television
I saw him
tonight.
on TV, too.
Oh, boy. Ryan's dad, the
Start.
king. The
Yeah.
king of Elk Grove is going to be so proud of his son tonight. He saw him
Yeah.
on television, and then he ducked out of the way of a foul ball.
Okay.
But by the
Oh,
way,
that
I learned
was
so
terrible.
I learned so much.
3 feet over my head.
Learned so
We'll
much.
we'll just leave it at that.
Excuses. It's fine.
Haters over here.
We knew it was you, though. I saw the Hawaiian shirt. I go, that's Ryan.
Yep. We definitely knew it was you. Definitely.
CHGO hat. Did I give it away?
Well, no, because when they took the shot, it was
was that-
sort of like the back. I think it was like almost the back of your head, but I noticed the Hawaiian shirt right away.
DFW Susie in the chat says we cheered for Ryan like he was an actual player. So that's the CHGO
Yeah.
Cubs family right there. Everyone, you know that Leonardo DiCaprio gif where he's like watching the TV and he points at it or whatever, like the pointing. Everyone, whenever the broadcast showed that
Yeah.
on marquee, all of us were like, "Hey, that's Ryan."
Yeah, it was the crappy part is like I've been thinking about it like because not a lot of balls get hit back here in the press box.
Yeah.
It's very high. It's very hard to hit a ball back here, like versus Milwaukee, which they get pelted by balls basically every game. And so I was actually thinking about it like a couple innings before, like, and I've had the thought like if a ball gets hit but it's not like directly to me, I don't want to like get in someone's way and make them get hit in the head or something because then
Hey, and
it
you're
could be a
a-
bad outcome. But that was I wish I would have just gone for the ball and see if I could have caught it.
Yeah, I mean, you're a softball champion. We just heard about a home run that you hit the other night. You slugged a home run, and the softball team's off to a 2-0 start. It looked like you were ducking out of the way.
I wasn't ducking out of the way, but if I could go
back in time,
if I go back in time, I would have jumped up and tried to catch that ball.
if you had 1.12 gigawatts or whatever it is, Doc flying in the old movie. All right, Ryan, give us the update. Give us the update on Christopher Morel. He's okay, relatively.
Yeah, hit out. I mean, this is like the 25th time the ball's hit his foot.
Crazy.
At some point this year. Yeah. Counsel said that Morel, the foot's okay. Obviously, he had to come out. That I think he was it in Milwaukee maybe that he also hit a ball off his foot.
I feel like every series almost every night it feels like he fought. It's constant. Like you were not even joking. I don't think it's double digit times he's fouled a ball off his foot this year.
No, his foot's taken a beating this season. But Craig Counsell said that he thinks he's going to be fine. Obviously, he gave some rest prior to that. From the last time that he got hit, was fine, and obviously got himself pretty good. I believe he said he doesn't expect X-rays or something like that. That they're the regular general day-to-day thing. Seeing how he feels tomorrow, probably kind of stuff. But for now, it seems like the diagnosis that he's just hit the ball off his foot. It hurt, and they're expecting him to be okay.
Man, his foot has got to be so swollen and so black and blue after all. I know he's got the guard there, but it's like they missed the guard somehow. It's like somehow they go around the guard. All right, Mike Tauchman. I said going into this, he's been the Cubs' best outfielder this season. He's been the most available, and he's been the most dependable. I'm not saying he's the MVP of the team, but he's potentially the MVP of position players this season so far. I'm not saying it's going to end that way, but this had to be special for him, a walk-off winner against the White Sox at Wrigley.
Yeah, and it's funny because he's kind of tried to push the Chicago connection to the side. He just wants to be a Cub, a baseball player. But yeah, it is. Everyone that knows he's from the area.
Wait, he's from the area? What town?
Okay, not the one you live in.
Well, he lives there now.
Did you know Ian Happ's from Pittsburgh?
Well, what? Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt, Ryan.
No, but he acknowledges it. Obviously, he knows he's from here. But he said being a Midwest guy, it starts to warm up around this time, or it's been warming up around this time. You get outside, and there's a lot of energy at the ballpark, in the crowd, and that brings its own thing, especially when it's it's Cubs Sox. And while he said he doesn't necessarily buy into the rivalry thing aspect of it, even though he's a Chicago guy, he still is these kinds of games. He even said I've been in 6 of these games since he became a Cub, 6 Cubs Sox games, and it feels like every single one's been crazy because it kind of has been over since last season. But he acknowledges not that I'm from Chicago, the Chicago area. It makes it feel even more special. I don't think he necessarily feels that way, but he's it's summer, the crowd, the ballpark's packed, the crowd is live, these games are fun, and you hit that walk-off home run. That's just a special moment by itself. And then obviously, he mentions every kid that played baseball growing up or everyone had that dream of hitting a walk-off home run, and that was his first career walk-off. So yeah, it's big moment for the Cubs, obviously, but pretty special for him for sure.
Hey, his 7th inning, we were saying his 7th inning at bat was maybe almost not as impactful, but it was certainly important in the game and is impressive.
11 pitches, I believe.
11 or 12, yeah.
Yeah, fouled off 5 straight. Fouled off 5 straight after the full count. Keep that at bat alive. I believe the balk was also in that plate appearance.
Which one?
If I'm not mistaken. The one, one of the 2 or 3 or however many there was today, but the balk that moved 2 guys over into scoring position, and then you continue working that at bat or that plate appearance. And you get the wild pitch to end it, brings a run in. It was talking to Tyone after the game from like about that at bat, but from like a pitcher's perspective, right? And he said like those kinds of battles, right? It's just pitch after pitch after pitch, and you're as a pitcher just trying to finish him off, and you're obviously not trying to walk him, but you're trying to finish the guy off, and you keep throwing maybe the same pitch multiple times in a row, and then you try to go to something else, and you may have lost the feeling a little bit just in that short stretch of you going with other things instead of that. So like a lot of little things play into an at bat like that or a plate appearance like that, and you see the outcome, you see the 11 pitches, the post game acknowledges how important a plate appearance, an 11 pitch walk that Mike Tauchman had, like how big that can be for a team, trying to claw their way back on the scoreboard, trying to get back in the game, trying to come back and win a ball game. Not that it's a small thing, but it's just like in a game of moments, and a game of trying to win every moment in a game, on a game where there's a lot of different moments, like that can be just as big as anything else.
Somebody in the chat, I didn't catch the name, Adam said something I was thinking at the same time, that last year the season sort of turned when they got hot, when Tauchman walked it off with the catch. These were two tough wins against a bad team, but still maybe this can be a launching point for the Cubs this season, another Tauchman walk-off winner.
Yeah, I mean, baseball's weird. Like the team can completely turn around at any time. I was checking out our friends over at PHNX Diamondbacks last night, and they've won, going into today at least, they had won 4 in a row. I don't know what they did today, but they had won 4 in a row, and they had all kinds of injuries to Gallen and Morel Kelly, and somehow their offense decided to start lighting it up suddenly, and they had won 4 in a row, and like they were all optimistic in their show or whatever. So teams are going through these types of struggles all the time. To put a different perspective on it, but in terms of the Cubs, it's like, maybe, hopefully, it's hard for me to buy into that right now, admittedly, because you did it against the White Sox, and you finally win a series. You swept this series, the 2-gamer, but
this close to being swept as well.
For sure. So I think I can buy into this turnaround a little bit more if they play well against the Reds this weekend in Cincinnati. Ryan, were you able to talk to Tyone? How did he feel after this? We talked a ton about how, overall he's been pretty good this year, but in recent starts he's given up too many hits. He hasn't been getting killed over the fence, but just too many hits, it feels like, in recent starts. Did you guys talk to him anything about that?
Yeah, he, just kind of talking about him today. It looked like the Sox had a good approach for him. Said that he didn't think he was close to the best version of himself by any means. Also thought he wasn't close to his worst either. I think he felt more in the middle. You had that one inning, they just 6 singles, right? And I think it's one of those things where we've talked about like bad luck and the Cubs and Morel more specifically, but like balls just finding gloves and stuff like that, and how that's just kind of baseball. Well, the opposite's true, where sometimes like they just put the ball where the fielders aren't, right? Instead of balls finding gloves, balls are finding grass, and not that again he wasn't. He acknowledged he wasn't at his best today, but I do think, and the White Sox did a good job of grinding out at bats and forcing him to throw balls in the zone and stuff like that. But it's also like when it's just single after single, finding grass. Part of it is just they beat him, and you go back and evaluate what wasn't working. Were you not mixing up your pitch sequencing enough, or the little things that the White Sox may have picked up on and saw him well? You said it, I think he's been good this year for him. more than not a continuation of what he was in the second half last season. Last couple times out haven't been as good, obviously, but I don't think it's like a panic. I don't think it's panic mode for Tyone. It's just like a day where he just didn't have his best stuff, and the White Sox saw him well and were able to put together good at-bats and get some hits and string together runs against him.
Yeah.
And mostly in one inning, too. Like, was it four?
Hey,
four
Ryan, Nico gets tossed tonight for the first time in his career. Was he laughing it off? Did he double down on it? What did he – because the strike was a ball. It was a bad call. What did he say?
Well, he thought that the second pitch, right, it was a 3-pitch strikeout.
Yeah.
That he saw the second pitch he thought was a ball. The next one he thought was even further, and just was kind of honestly surprised that was called a strike. And
did he say what he said to the umpire that got him tossed so quickly? Because it was a really quick toss.
Well, he didn't say what he said, but he thought that the arm, like when he puts his arms up, like a little bit more of a show, and he thought maybe that the umpire took more exception to that than anything that he said in particular. And yeah, it was his first ever walk off, and just kind of laughing it off after. Obviously, the win helps. But yeah, no, he thought it was a ball. It was a ball, and he said like I didn't go up there, or I didn't in that moment think like, oh, I got to get tossed, but just argued his case and got the boot.
Yeah, there's no question the umpire was bad. It was a bad home plate umpire. He missed a lot of calls. If the strike zone on television is even remotely accurate, he wasn't even close on some of the calls. Should we do who you got?
Sure.
And before we go, I don't want to forget to talk about our trip to Milwaukee after who you got.
We already know who you got, even though I'm not on the graphic.
Kevin would like credit because he did say Tauchman in the pregame show, even though he's not
on the
graphic or in our Slack channel making his pick. Of course, Morel was wonderful tonight, and many people would say Morel is the champion.
I think Dansby probably would win on this graphic.
Tauchman wins. It was a great at bat.
2 hits, 2 runs scored,
and then a great home run.
Sack fly and a fielder's choice.
Let's go. Tally it up.
I would love for more people to yell at me for taking Gomes, even though that if they could probably because they don't understand.
Gomes? Are you out of your mind?
Because they don't understand the joke,
right?
But, shout out to Kevin. Congratulations. What was your favorite part of the win?
My favorite part of the win was everyone saying Jamison Tyone's washed when they're wrong and he's not. Wow. Just like Ian Happ was not washed 2 weeks ago. Tyone will be fine.
That's it, man. I would have been like the gloating part that I'm about to go on or something like that.
I think I have like 3 wins in who you got, so I can't really do much gloating. It's just nice to win one.
There you go. Kevin Malone, nice Kevin Wells. It's just nice to win one.
It's just nice to win them. Much like the wagering I've been doing lately.
Yeah. Luke won all his bets.
2 nights in a row.
I won my bet tonight. Credit to us. All we do on this podcast is win. All right, and even though I took Gomes, if you know the joke, when I take guys who are struggling, it's in design to manifest Cubs wins. So I don't know. We're 2-0 in our last 2 games.
Reminder to everybody before we go, we have the what do you call it? Road trip? I guess what we're calling it. Road trip to Milwaukee. It's a takeover / well, it's also sort of a takeover. We're taking over a section of tickets, but we're also renting a party bus and we're going down, going up, I should say, to Milwaukee. It's
Wrigley
the 29th. North. We're leaving at 9 a.m. from almost home in Chicago. There's also going to be a stop at Circa Sports
to pick up our friends in the suburbs.
Whole trip is presented by Circa Sports. We're going to stop, hang out at Circa Sports in Waukegan, pick up more people there, then go all the way up to Milwaukee, do a little tailgating, go in, have a good time, and then come on back
and hopefully
after the
watch
game.
the Cubs win.
Trim the lead just like they did today. What are they now?
31 and 31.
Picked up a full game today, right?
Yep, picked up a
5 games back. Yep. Brewers got swept
by the Phillies, like I said.
Thanks, Phillies.
Thank you, Phillies. Thank you, PHLY Phillies. I've been tagging them in all my tweets, thanking them the last 3 days now.
Ryan's missing the Shady Rays. They would up that Hawaiian shirt. Look at these blue.
Those look real nicely.
Thanks, that's what I was looking for. Any other notes? Any other nuggets you wanted to send our way before we go?
Yeah. Speaking of Nico's ejection, he said that it was a bit of uncharted territory for him, and he wasn't a fan of it, and he doesn't plan on doing it again.
Well, that's boring. Come on now.
So you'll see Nico on the field instead of in the tunnel and not playing baseball. Like, wouldn't you rather have that, Cody?
Well, yes, but I also want someone with some edge. All right, this is a good
That's
set.
Tauchman, you're right. There's the edge.
He's not getting thrown out. Okay, we need like Brendan tweeted after Nico got thrown out something that I really agree with. Like, Counsell should have gone out there and got himself thrown out too. Like, this team needs some edge.
What am I, a dragon?
This team needs
I
some
breathe fire.
I'm not advocating to trade for Tommy Pham, but they need some Tommy Pham in them because I need someone to get thrown out for when things are going bad. This is the most meatball thing I'll say all night, probably this entire week. But like, I don't know how else to explain it. They need a little edge. And maybe Mike Tauchman is that guy. He does give you that glare sometimes whenever he feels like you're coming for him. But, like, that was the perfect moment for Craig Counsell to, like, get thrown out and, like, kick some dirt on. This team has too many nice guys.
I think counts his color in his hair. I think it looks a little darker to me.
It's very meatball of me to say.
What do you need a second ejection for? Nico got ejected.
You know who?
Because it was a terrible call.
It was, and Nico let the umpire know.
And he got thrown out. And then we were at one point.
And then
down
Craig's
Morel
supposed to
and
go out
Nico.
there and like do his part, man. He's supposed to do his part, man. Del Metrics. That's Del Metrics for you.
Pete Alonso plays with an edge.
Justin in the chat. It's not nonsense, man.
Pete Alonso's got a little sandpaper in him. Just saying.
I'm allowed to be a little meatballish if I want, all right?
All right.
I just want to see an emotional someone getting thrown out. Someone on this team. Show a little, like, passion or something. Stop being so nice. I don't know. Whatever.
He's very angry for back-to-back wins. Ryan, you're here tonight. Or tomorrow night, right? You're not going to Cincinnati?
No, I'll be back in the office for the first time in like 3 weeks, I think.
And then at that point, you can add up all your fake who you got stats, and you can read them out to whatever they might be.
They're accurate. They're as accurate as who you got stats could be.
Just don't forget about this one. I need the wins.
All right.
I'll think about this in 3 months, Kevin.
Back with a post-game show tomorrow. We will be live, Barb. So after the game, flip on over. YouTube will be right here with the live show. Thanks to everybody that checked it out, whether it's podcast form or on YouTube. We appreciate it. Thanks for the thumbs up on the way out. We're at 93. Let's hit 100, huh?
And whoever
a sweep of the Sox.
And even whoever,
Crosstown Cup.
If you thumbs down, just hit the thumbs up too. That'd be appreciated.
That's right. That's nice. We get any super chats that we forget?
One more from Fernando.
Shout out Fernando. He's always listening. $1.99. Cubs won in spite of strike zone the size of a Buick, the size of Jose Quintana, as one might say.
Yeah. Right. Very good. That's a good way to end it.
Dude, that umpire was trash, brother.
He was trash, but the Cubs won. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast. Cubs win 7-6. They take on the Reds tomorrow. We'll be here for the post-game show. Until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.